Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the PK Sportscast. I'm your boy John, aka that PK boy. We got the full crew today. We got Caleb, Mango, and Knock. How y'all doing?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Oh, what's
Going
up,
good my
guys?
way. Mango, I ain't seen you
Oh,
in a couple weeks, man. I'm ready. Bring it to me.
Hey man, it's gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be a fun one for sure.
oh yeah, I'm excited today, guys. Maybe not so excited that I got to announce this first topic, but we'll go ahead and roll right into it, man. Buffalo rolled into Kansas City this week, and it was the game that we were all waiting on. We were ready for it, and Buffalo ends up getting a last minute win, 24-20. And I'm gonna leave it right there. Knock. What was your take on that game?
Oh man, dude, it's kind of sucks always whenever we leave with an L. I wanted to win that game. We're at home. Buffalo, like I said last week, Buffalo was the either the one or the two rated team. We were the one or the two rated team, depending on which website you were looking at, and we just fell a little bit short. With that being said, it was very competitive. I feel like it could have gone either way. So I'm already over it. I'm not even that upset about taking the loss to the Bills. We all know that we're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be in the playoffs, barring some catastrophic injury or something crazy. So that's when it's going to count. So it was nice to see both teams show up. It was an interesting and fun game to watch. The Chiefs showed some resiliency getting down in the first half. Um, and I think at the end of the day, the turnovers just as really what was the tail of the tape there because Mahomes ended up having a couple of picks, which is uncharacteristic of him, and he ended the game on a pick. And he throws, he brings us back all the time, so it was uncharacteristic. I did, on a side note, think it was funny though how there all these little stories about how they schemed up this defensive play over the last few years and how they just pulled it out at that exact moment and tricked Mahomes, and they were so smart. And I just think it's real cute how the Bills think that like that's like their Super Bowl. Like that's their 65 toss power trap moment, or that's their wasp play like we hit the Niners with. Like, chill out, bitches. You guys didn't win anything but a regular season game. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I thought that was real cute or whatever. I see that on social media. It's hard for me to not, react, but it is what it is. Mahomes just gift wrapped that for them, and they're at the end of the game, and it's no big deal. I don't expect that we're going to see that a whole lot out of our Chiefs team. With that being said, excuse me, I did love the big kick moment whenever Harrison Butker came out at the end of the half, and we're looking at a long ass field goal, and like, oh man, Harrison's back. And not only did he makes it into the wind, 60 yards or some crazy number,
62.
62 yards. Who was the guy that was just playing for him and hitting long field goals? I already forgot the guy's name. Harrison's back. You know what I mean? So that felt good seeing him back. But with that being said, I'm gonna turn it over to you guys. That's all I have for that one.
Mango, welcome back, buddy. What was your full take on that?
No, I completely agree with Knock. I think it was a very competitive game, and I'm pretty over it as well. I mean, the game could have gone either way. It was competitive up until the very end, and one bad play into the game. Unfortunately, the refs kind of impacted their will throughout the game, but it went both ways. So you can't really throw shade. We got away with a lot of holding and a lot of pass interference, and so did they. So I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. The refs are going to be there. We can't stop that. But I do want to throw it back. Butker with that 62-yard field goal. That's actually a Chiefs record. So give it up to Butker, man. First week back and just going out. I think he only took 2 steps for that kick. Like, how in the hell? This kid's got a cannon on. Oh my goodness, a cannon for a leg. So great to have him back. Great to end the half like that. We showed a lot of fight as a team, and I think we're going to be just fine. Buffalo came through and beat us week 5 last year, and we still got them in the divisional game. So KC's going to come through when it matters. And I really don't have a whole lot else to say about it, man. Congrats to Buffalo for getting a regular season win, but we're going to see them again, and they definitely know that.
Boys, I'm a little bit more irritated with the Bills fan base than what you guys are letting on. I don't know if you're just trying to be nice or whatever the case may be. Why is this? If Josh Allen is this good, why are they celebrating this game like it's a Super Bowl win? Listen, guys. Yes, I understand you beat Kansas City. Congratulations. Come on. Like we're looking ahead. Stop. This wasn't the Super Bowl. You more than likely will see Kansas City again. Congratulations. You won the game. This was a good game. Could have went either way. It wasn't a game where one just stomped on the other. It's not like that. We're potentially looking at the next great rivalry in the National Football League. These two quarterbacks, they can ball. Okay, I don't want to. It irritates me sometimes when I see this. It's like they'd rush the field if they could. Like, come on, it's a regular season game. Stop it. Stop it. I mean, I'll give it up. Von Miller, Andrew Wiley looked completely lost. Von Miller out there. I mean, he just looked lost. I mean, and came down to one bad play by Mahomes, which one of you said, I apologize. One of you said he does not do very often. So, I'm very much looking forward to seeing these two teams meet up again later on. Now, this might mean we have to play in the snow come playoff time. That's, whatever the case may be. I'm looking forward to seeing Buffalo again. I don't care when it may be, but these games are always these two teams right here. This is going to be the next great rivalry, and I'm here. I'm ready to see it for years. See what's going to happen because man, this was exciting. I hated that we came out on the losing side of it, but sometimes that's just going to happen. Josh Allen, Mahomes, I think that's going to make for must-see TV for the next decade, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll start off by just saying I actually enjoy watching the Bills as a team. We'll get to the fan base next, but like the team, the Bills, I think, they're my Super Bowl favorite this year. I like watching Josh Allen. He's an awesome quarterback. Von Miller's on the defense now. They're looking good, but we'll go ahead and move over to this is addressing the fan base, not necessarily the players. Guys, relax. Relax. You guys demolished us last season. And watching, like, we lost Tyreek. Everyone's been talking about how we're supposed to be down, and you guys had to come back in the fourth. I mean, even I expected this to be a Buffalo win. I thought it was going to be a 7-point game at least. It was a 4-point game that ended on honestly, a very terrible throw on Mahomes' part to the rookie. But, I'm not really that worried about it. And Bills fans, I mean, congratulations. You're 2 for 5 in your Super Bowl appearances. What I mean by that is the 5 times you've played Kansas City. You guys have won 2 of those. So congratulations. Maybe you'll get one when it matters. I mean, like, let's be honest. Like, everyone's talking like Josh Allen should already have his golden jacket. It's crazy. I mean, the guy has beat Mahomes in 2 regular season games. Last week, week 5, this year, week 6. And he can never get it done in the playoffs against us. I mean, you guys have to do that before you talk too much. I mean, be happy for your win. You should be. But, I mean, come on, man. You guys are just taking it way too far. I mean, that's like, that's apples to oranges, man. Like, we got a Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowl appearances, a Super Bowl winner. We've schlackled you guys on both of the ways to those games. Actually, no, it's not true. You didn't even make it to our game the year that we actually won because you guys can't do it when it matters. I mean, right now, in my predictions, I had the Chiefs 3-3 at this point in the season. We're 4-2. We're doing better than I expected, so I'm really not concerned at all. The first 6 weeks of this season is the hardest part of our schedule. If you look at what we've got coming up, I mean, we're going to steamroll through the rest of this season, I think. I have us predicted at 12-5. I can easily see this going 13-4, if not better. I could still see the division, the playoffs rolling through Arrowhead at this point. I mean, come on. Like, do we say that Mahomes is better than Brady whenever we've beat the Buccaneers twice now in regular season games, but we lose to them in the playoffs?
And Bills Mafia, let me add, John. I'm sorry. We're not saying
good.
Josh Allen. We're not saying Josh Allen is not a good talent. Dude is a phenomenal talent. We're not saying that at all. But I think we kind of deserve a little bit of respect, right? I mean, you won a regular season game. Congratulations. Like you said, we've been to 2 Super Bowls, won one. What have they done in the postseason so far? That's the only point I'm trying to get across. That's the only thing I will say, Bills Mafia. That's my only take on it. I mean,
to give them a little bit of credit. I'm sorry, Caleb.
no,
This
you're good.
this game very well could have had playoff implications. I mean, looking at it right now, these are the top two teams in the AFC. And so this very well could be the battle for the 1 seed, and it's over. I mean, Buffalo did take it right there. So I mean, if you're looking at it in that sense, I understand it, but I do get what you're saying. They do need to calm the hell down because all this trash I'm seeing on Twitter right now, it's getting to be a little disrespectful.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even care when they get quote unquote disrespectful talking about just like specifically that game. Like, sure, go for it, man. Both of Mahomes' picks were not great decisions, I'll admit. But when they start talking about we got the greatest of all time, crown him now, Mahomes is washed and all that, like those are the guys where you're just like, you ain't even watching football, man. But, whatever. We'll see what happens in the playoffs. I mean, it's a win-win for me. I've got the Buffalo Bills beating us and heading to the Super Bowl, but as a Chiefs fan, obviously, I would love to see us really shut the fan base up because, we sun you guys every year. I mean, I feel like the fan base talking to us right now is like the little kid who like for once proved that their dad was like wrong in a scenario, and they're just like, yeah, fuck you, dad. Like, yeah, no, dude, like we're still fathering you guys. Don't worry about it. We'll tuck you in nice in January. So that's all I got on that. But the big upset this week where I think that people should be able to brag, the Giants over the Ravens. I mean, a lot of people were saying that the Giants were going to go in there and be exposed because they hadn't played anybody yet, but they ended up taking a win over the Ravens. Trying to see what was the score in that game. 24-20 as well. Mango, I'll throw this one to you, bro.
I was one of those people that really thought that the Giants were just going to get shellacked this week. In fact, I had it at a 24-10 score, and I thought I was being generous. But there is something in the water in New York. The G-men are back. They're making me a believer every single week. Danny Dimes looks good. No picks. 2 touchdowns, no picks. This kid at least throws 1 pick a week. He's looking great right now. Saquon Barkley's coming back and leading the team. They're 5-1, looking studly right now. Too bad they're going to have to go through the Eagles. So, I mean, they're not going to get much farther than that. But congratulations to them on a hell of a first half of the season. I hope it continues for them. I hope Danny Dimes continues to improve like he is. But I do want to bring up somebody on this show had said something about New York football in general being abysmal and trash and just completely garbage. And I think that guy, he's actually on the show with me for the first time in weeks. And so I'm going to throw it over to you, Mr. Caleb. How are you feeling about the Giants right now?
And I credit when credit is due. I never, and you know what's even more surprising is that they're winning close games. I don't know if that's even more shocking than blowout. I don't know, but they're managing these close games and they're coming out with wins. That's something that I never expected. And you know what, New York fans, whether you're a Giants fan, Jets fan, I apologize because y'all have already exceeded the win total of what I thought you guys were both going to have as a unit. So I apologize for that. After 5 straight losing seasons, 3 coaching changes, the Giants are doing the damn thing. They are finding a way to win. Saquon Barkley's out there. He's looking like he's having fun. I mean, it's incredible. Baltimore, I don't know what. I would love to be a fly on the wall in that locker room because I think there's issues they've got brewing there. They don't look like this was supposed to be a very big year for Lamar. A lot of us, at least 2 of us out of the 4, had them winning the division. Correct, if I'm not mistaken.
I did.
Yeah, and right now, I don't know. It's not looking good for Baltimore so far. I will give credit to the Giants. I really thought that the Ravens were just going to steamroll through them when we did our picks at the beginning of the season. So props up to the Giants. I really it's great for football. It's a great story. unlike what Mango said, they're still going to have to go through Philly, and that would be one tough test to pass. So I don't know. It's good for football. I love to see it. Giants, you're doing great. Fan base, I'm happy for you. Knock. What's your take on the Giants so far?
Bravo. We talked about them last week for the first time on the podcast. And I said last week, like, I didn't know how they were getting wins. And I rattled off all the names of the receivers that they had lost. Um, and I talked about how they were balanced, how they were a tough team, how they found ways to win. And that's really what you have to be able to do. And we saw that in action again this week. I thought Baltimore would win a close game because they're seasoned. But the Giants, maybe they're for real, guys. Maybe they're like serious about being a wild card team in the NFC.
Looking like it.
They might be that team. I mean, I'm looking at my notes here. I mean, clearly they need to find a little bit more offense. If they're going to try to make any real run, they're not really hitting on all cylinders, but they've lost a lot of receivers. But one thing I've noticed about Danny Dimes, and I want to piggyback off of what you said, Mango, Danny Dimes usually gives away, gives them one every now and then, right? Like every once a game, he's going to give you one. But he's been playing clean football. And not only that, even though they've lost all those receivers and they may not have a star on that team at that position, he found 8 different receivers last week. And 6 of those receivers he found multiple times. He has 6 receivers with more than one catch. That is actually kind of rare in football. So, hats off to Danny Dimes. He's done a good job. He didn't turn the ball over, whereas Lamar did. I think when you have these close games, not unlike the Bills and the Chiefs, that one turnover makes the difference. I think that Danny Dimes did fumble the ball, and he's always fumbling the damn ball. I don't know what's up with that boy not holding on to the ball, but yeah, he didn't throw one away at the end, and that's important. So good for him, not having those turnovers and not giving the game away. And I'm excited to see what ends up with those guys. I'm not sure that they are definitely, I'm not anointing them. They're definitely not winning that division with Philadelphia in it, and I don't think that I'd like to see them play Dallas, to be honest. Um, I need to look on the schedule and see when they face off, but it'd be great if they faced off in the next few weeks to kind of be able to test those two. But yeah, good for them. I'm happy for them, and go New York football, Caleb.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I'll take that. That's fine.
Man, well, I got a couple things to say, piggybacking off of a lot of what all of you said. First, I'll start with Marengo. You missed one part. Caleb said that New York football should not exist. He didn't just say it. He said it should not exist. Shouldn't be around. Move the team. These are the things he was saying. So just wanted to make sure that was clear to everybody.
Why are you bringing up old shit?
And then Knock, the Giants did face the Cowboys. It's their only loss this season.
Oh, they did play. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they lost by a touchdown, and it's the only loss that they have. So I don't know if that's because the Cowboys are that good with Cooper Rush or whatever. I won't even get into that because they didn't look so hot this week. But no, the Giants, I think that they're looking pretty good. I think you guys already kind of covered that. What I want to say is, like, not taking anything away from the Giants, but Baltimore, they're throwing games away in the fourth, man. I mean, they could be 5-1 right now. Just off the Giants game and the Miami game alone, they could be 5-1. I mean, they really just threw away both of those games. I don't know who needs to be held accountable for that, but I definitely think the defense has just kind of let things go in the second half. They always start off hot, don't allow a ton of points, but they're just losing these close games, man. So we'll see what happens. I've got them winning the division too. And Cincinnati's not exactly looking amazing either, but I mean, if they don't pull it together, they're definitely going to be fighting for a wild card spot as well. They may even miss the playoffs again. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with those guys. But good job to the Giants. I don't know how you're doing it with Daniel Jones at quarterback. So this is looking like. I mean, I'm glad Saquon's back now that I finally, after 3 seasons of disbelief, dropped him from my fantasy team. But, um, you know, it is what it is. They're looking like the Jacksonville team from a few years back where they make it to the AFC Championship with Blake Bortles, Um, we'll see where they end up going. But we started talking about Dallas, and we'll go ahead and just bring up their game from this week against Philly. Um, that was a crazy game. Looked like it was going to be a big smackdown. Ended up having some garbage time points. Philly ends up taking that game 26-17. Caleb, I'm gonna throw this one over to you, man.
I saw a lot of people, more of the Cowboy franchise, knocking on Rush. Look, he's done what he's had to do. There is no shame in losing to this Philly team at all. Now, Knock, I am not going to call you by your nickname, but you have called the Cowboys, being pretty solid team through 6 weeks, and you know what? So far they are. It was only a two-score game, and Rush had three ugly picks. I mean, this game, if I know he didn't exactly throw the ball very well, but I mean, they still only lost by 9. It wasn't even a double-digit loss. The Cowboys, I think they still have a lot going on. We're talking about an Eagles team that ranks second in the NFL in points off turnovers. This is not a bad team. This is not a loss that should hurt if you are a Cowboys fan. I thought, I didn't see a whole lot of the game, but Jalen Hurts, just a quick look, threw for 155 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, we've seen him explode for more than that in any given game so far earlier on the season. So this was not an upsetting game. I don't think. If you're a Cowboys fan, you got to be. If there's ever a time to be proud of a loss, this would be it, because they still could have pulled through. And as ugly as they may have been on that side of the ball, Dallas could have won that game. Not saying that I would have bet money on it, but just looking at the numbers and watching what I had seen, it looked like that was a game that Dallas could have won. While, can I mention, they are still not playing with Dak Prescott. So I can't wait to see Dak get healthy. I'm wanting to see what this offense can do. Rush, I think he's kind of in that game managing phase. And you know what? That's great. He's doing exactly what Dallas needs him to do. I see it being a very decent season. The AFC looks, the NFC East looks, they look competitive, and I can't believe I'm saying that. The Giants, man, I don't even know why the Commanders are there. Tell them to go. That's who I should have said at the beginning of the season. Should have told them to go. But no, I'm excited. Cowboys Nation, I was clowning you the start of the season. I got to give you props, man. It's a good loss. I will say that. Mango, what were you thinking on that game, man?
No, I feel the exact same way, man. Cowboys fans that are blaming Cooper Rush for this loss obviously do not watch a lot of football, because that kid has gone out and played out of his mind for the last few weeks, and he's the only thing that held this Cowboys team together. And nobody had faith in him when he first went out there. So this kid has gone out and played out of his mind. Props up to Cooper Rush and everything that he has accomplished. And this Cowboys team, I mean, they had 4 sacks against the best team in the NFL. And stayed in it. It was a 9-point loss. I mean, it's not time to panic for the Cowboys. They're going to be fine the rest of the season. I was one of the people that doubted them going into the season, and Knock religiously told me I was wrong. And so props up to Nostradamus for picking that, because I definitely wouldn't have thought it at the beginning of the season. But I'm interested to see what Dak does coming back this week. Hopefully his hand's all healed and he's ready to go, and the Cowboys get firing on all cylinders again. As sick as it makes me to say that, I really hate saying good things about the Cowboys, but they're not giving me much else to say. So good on the Cowboys. They're looking good. Unfortunately, they didn't get it done against the Eagles this week, but they're going to be fine the rest of the season.
Yeah, I will say, Philadelphia whooped them. Dallas did what they could. They're just anemic on offense. It was nice to see Zeke show up. I'll call him Zeke this week. It was nice to see him show up. I don't know what his stat line was. He might not have even had 30 yards. I honestly don't know, but I will say
He had like 70.
Yeah, I will say though that when I
81
watched him, he looked ready to go. I think I even saw him do the old school Dak, feed me kind of thing, where he's like, hand me the damn ball, and I like to see that. With that being said, man, Philadelphia is so consistent. Philadelphia is so balanced. Philadelphia is clearly the number one team in the NFC. Without a shadow of the doubt, there is no other team in the NFC that has shown the level of consistency on both sides of the ball that Philadelphia has. Philadelphia has been able to score many different ways. I mean, you see they've ran the ball. They ran the hell of the ball. Early in the season, it was all A.J. Brown. Devontae Smith still in there getting his. Don't forget about Gainwell and Scott, because they'll just come in right behind Sanders and get looks. Quez Watkins is showing up on special teams every single game. They're just a well-rounded team, and I have a lot of fun watching them. They're actually my second team. My wife loves them, so I watch them all the time. Even though I know the Cowboys are going to have a good season, and I root for the Cowboys, because I want to be right. The Eagles are definitely, they get a lot of play here. And what's really scary about the Eagles, guys, I don't know if you guys know this, but they are poised to win in the future. Do you know that they're second right now in cap space? They got 10 mil just sitting there chilling. The only other team that's got more than them is the Browns with 33 mil,
Wow.
because they don't have to show Deshaun's, I don't think, because he's not active, right? But that once he comes back, that 33 is gone, because they sold the soul for that. So they, I think they might as well have the number one amount, of cap space available. And they're stacked, it looks like, on both sides of the ball. And now guess what? They still have all those draft picks. They still
That's
have all those
scary.
draft picks that they have accumulated. Howie Roseman's been accumulating for the last few years. They've got the Saints' first round pick coming up this next draft. And the Saints got 2 wins right now. I think if the draft started today, the Saints would have the 5th pick. And that pick is the Eagles. And the Eagles get their own pick. And the way they're going, they're going to be picking late, because they're going to be in the playoffs deep. So they're poised. They have cap space to make trades, to bring in talent. The trade deadline's not even up. They still got 2 weeks to make moves. They got draft capital to play with, to move with. They can trade. They're very flexible, and they're already winning. So they're scary, guys. They're really scary players in the NFC. The teams like the Packers, and the Buccaneers, even, they're falling behind because they're getting old. And so I think teams need to be really looking out for the Eagles, not just this season, but for seasons to come.
Yeah, I agree, man. That's a young team that you do not want to mess with right now. Agreed there. But I will say, they definitely started off by beating the hell out of Dallas. But, I would say they got a little lazy at the end. They were up 17-0, and they're like, man, are they even going to fight? Ended up being 26-17, but I mean, it was 20-17 there for a minute, and we were all watching a game that was one turnover away from being another Dallas win with a backup. It really could have went either way. I think that Philly is obviously the better team. I've got them winning. So actually, I think I got Philly winning the division. I know it's a 1-game difference between the two. I think that they're very evenly matched. And it's scary how evenly matched they still are, even with Cooper Rush behind center. I think if Cooper Rush continued his streak of no turnovers, this would have been a totally different game. I mean, this dude didn't even look recognizable in that game. I mean, the guy was just throwing picks left and right, making bad decisions. I mean, like, he's had games where he's gone with only 102 yards and got a dub because he didn't turn it over. He didn't give the defense enough chance to rest, man. And I think that's what it really came down to. Maybe on top of the Eagles feeling like they had a solid lead, you know what I mean? But I think both of these teams are going to be really fun to watch. I could definitely see them playing against each other in the playoffs. And I look forward to them meeting up again later in the season with Dak behind center to really see, the full power of both teams. It's really crazy. I know we were just talking about the Giants too. I mean, that is one of the most crazy divisions in football right now. We all make fun of them. We call them the NFC least. I see the memes all the time where you got like 4 different garbage cans next to each other. They each got one of the team logos on it. You know what I mean? Like, it's bad, and everyone thought the AFC was going to be loaded, and look at what we're seeing. It's like total flip flop.
I was gonna say we can't say that now.
No. I mean, Like, did anybody watch the Monday night game between the Chargers and Broncos? I didn't. Not after too long. I fell asleep. But anyways, NFC East looking crazy. It's not my surprise for this week, but it should be my surprise for the damn season. I mean, what is going on over there in that division? You know, I don't have much more to say that hasn't already been said by this group, though. I was kind of going to say the same as Knock, man. The Eagles are young and they're scary. I look forward to seeing them make it far, man. I'm always rooting for a Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl, so we'll see if we get that this year. But speaking of surprises, I want to go ahead and jump right on into those. Knock, I want to go ahead and let you get started, man. What was the most surprising part of the week for you?
You know, I will say this week is probably the most surprising since the Seahawks in week 2, right? Like this is crazy. I can't believe I'm about to say this, guys, but Jets, Jets. Are you kidding me right now? These guys are finding ways to win games. Not only are the Giants relevant, but the Jets appear like they're relevant too. It doesn't matter what scrub-ass quarterback you throw back there. It could be the rookie and Zach Wilson. It could be the veteran. Damn it. I'm sorry.
Joe
Flacco from the Ravens and the Broncos, right? But it doesn't matter who's back there because their defense and their running game is dominating. That team has found its identity under the new head coach. Well, the young head coach, Robert Saleh, who's been there, I think, the last 3 seasons. He previously was the defensive coordinator for the 49ers when they were on their Super Bowl run. That's how he got his job there. And it's evident that they've really found their way. And it's scary because they're 4-2. And if you look at the statistical, you look at the stats, they've got more than a 50% chance to make the playoffs right now. The Jets are currently favored to make the playoffs. Think about that. When was the last time the Jets made the playoffs, fellas? When was the last time? I'll tell you. It was 2010, 2011 season. Okay? These are the players they had. And you guys probably remember because you're probably in 7th grade playing Madden with this team. Okay? This was Mark Sanchez, LaDainian Tomlinson, Santonio Holmes. Okay? Darrell Revis, right? Revis Island. Like, this is the squad. Bart Scott coming in to all the non-believers.
Yeah, that's my favorite
when they
interview
beat
of all
the
time.
Patriots, right? When they beat the Patriots in the playoffs, they're a wild card team. Patriots are 14-2 that year, and they came in and beat them. Bart Scott came in. Well, I mean, that's the last time we saw them in the playoffs. So good for them. I'm super excited. They're not giving up anything on the ground. I mean, these guys are giving up less than 16 points a game in their last 3 games, and that's a really big part of it. The young Brees Hall, I think his name is Brees Hall. This kid is just lighting it up. He's a big play machine out there. Just kind of came out of nowhere. So I'm really high on that kid. He looks good. Their only 2 losses this season are to the Ravens and to the Bengals. And those teams are solid, right? Those teams are solid. They don't see them all the time. So, I mean, nothing to poo-poo out. But yeah, I'm super excited to see what they can do. C.J. Mosley, LaMarcus Joyner, those guys are doing their thing. Congratulations to the Jets.
Man, the Jets are crazy right now. I mean, like, if you actually want, like, I thought they were just winning some trash games, but I watched a little bit of that game this week, and, like, they looked pretty damn good. Not only did Green Bay look terrible, but they looked pretty damn good. And also, I got to say thank you to Brees Hall. I put a crazy parlay together, and I needed him to get 90 yards and a tutty, and he did it for me. I also needed them to beat the Packers with a score over 26.5, and they did it. So thank you for winning me like $50 off a dollar, Mr. Brees. Yeah, crazy, dude. Zach Wilson even looked decent out there. I don't know. Like Marengo said, something's in the water in New York this year, man. Something's going on.
New York's about to go freaking wild, man, with both football teams winning. 5-1 and 4-2, man. The smart people got out of New York this past couple of years with COVID and everything, so now it's just filled with delinquents. So, and so New York's going wild right now, man.
Let me.
Sorry, fan base in New York.
Yeah, Caleb, can you tell
I,
us how you feel about the Jets being so good in New York football coming back?
I don't know. I don't know what y'all are talking about. I really don't. I really don't. No, I mean, no, it's incredible. I saw both of these franchises being just bottom of the barrel again, and you know what? They're making me eat crow. I really hope I didn't put money on them being one of the worst teams in the league this season because I'd be losing out on that money right there. Yeah, it's incredible to both. Um, the first time in a very long time that the fans of the Giants and the Jets have been able to celebrate together. It's probably been a long time since that's happened, but no, like we said earlier, I'm
Mhm.
happy to see it. I think it's a great story for football. It really is to finally see some other teams that haven't seen that success. Especially the Jets. They've been putrid for the past few years. So, especially the Jets. I'm real happy for New York football, and I really hope nobody took a clip of that of me saying how
Oh, we
bad
did.
both football teams.
Oh, I'm gonna
I'm
have
sure
it.
you
Yeah,
did. I'm
yeah,
sure
yeah,
We
you
yeah.
did.
definitely
Oh
are.
yeah, I'm gonna have
I'm
it.
gonna deny that. I'm gonna
Yes.
deny that to the fullest.
Yeah, we
I
might
You
have to
can't.
did
You're
not say
caught in
that.
4K. You're caught in
Ooh,
4K.
Yeah,
it was my twin brother.
might have to
But
be a
no,
TikTok
seriously.
story.
And you know what? That's fine. That is fine. I'll own up to it. I was wrong so far. We'll see how the rest of the season pans out, but I
Yeah.
gotta eat it for now.
So something that's
You butt
crazy to
fumbled that
me.
one, bud.
If that's funny. If somebody would have told us beginning before the season that New York football would be more powerful than LA football, we'd have been like, no way. No, there's no
Ooh.
way. There's no way. The Rams and the Chargers, both of them favored to be in the playoffs easily and contend for their divisions. And then you got the Giants and the Jets. Give me a break. And wow, look at that.
This man's about to revamp West Coast East Coast violence, but
It's a long season, it is a long season, but it's fun.
man, yeah, that's nuts, man. Caleb, what was your surprise for this week, man?
Okay, you know what? Y'all were giving me hell. Um, which how many of y'all were giving me hell for thinking Seattle was even remotely going to be anywhere near a 500 team this year?
Um, yeah, it's pretty well documented how not
Uh,
drop the ball on Seattle and
Listen,
Gino.
I'm not saying I would have put money on it. I'm really not. You know, I'm happy for Geno Smith. And I said, I was like, I don't know if Pete Carroll's going to allow this team to just sit down and just be trash. And y'all, I think one of you looked at me, I don't remember, said, well, is Pete Carroll going to be out there throwing the ball? And you know what? He may not be out there throwing the ball. But yeah, exactly. Okay, you manned up to it. Good, good. You manned up to it. You know what? No,
I
you
might
know,
have picked
after,
that one too.
hey, I am gonna talk my shit on that one a little bit as the season goes on. You know, they're only 3-3, but hell, you guys weren't even expecting. One of you had them. I think a couple of you had them winning only 2 games on the season. So you
Knock
know
had
what?
1-16, I believe.
Oh,
No, that is not true.
I think he had them winning 2. Whatever the case may be, they have already exceeded. Was it only 1? Oh,
I had
wow.
them 1-16.
So you know what? All that hell you gave me, I'm gonna pass that one back on to you, Brody. Because no, honestly, all jokes aside, I wouldn't have put money on it. I thought they were gonna be a terrible. I mean, you look at this team on paper. What's Geno Smith like? What's he gonna do? And then he's coming out here, he's balling. They're only a 3-3 team. They still might miss the playoffs, but for a team that wasn't even projected to even come close to sniffing a wild card, I think this is damn impressive. I'm happy for him. I'm not really a Seahawks fan, but I guess I just had more confidence in him than you guys had because you guys, you guys were not feeling that in our predictions earlier on in the season. I don't know, man. What are you guys thinking about it? Am I completely wrong? Do you see
Geno
them?
Smith and Drew Lock, dude. I mean,
I
like
mean,
I gave him one win per quarterback, is what I thought. So I was like 2-15 sounds good to me. If they're smart, they'll go for a draft pick. They had just extended DK. I figured that was to pay him enough money to deal with that shit for a little bit. I didn't think they'd come out here and actually try. Geno Smith ain't right as back, dog. I mean, that's all it is.
I mean, 3-14 is still in the cards. I'm just saying.
I'm so sick and tired of talking about Seattle. Every single week we have to talk about these motherfuckers. Every single week we have to talk about these guys. I mean, would they just lose and know their role in this league already? Just know that you're where you're supposed to be. But no, they're not. Good for them. They're resilient. I think I picked them as a surprise already this year. They seem to find a way to make it onto the show, and they're doing it with excellent play. They are the antithesis of what we see with Denver, where they just can't get right. Every single game they play is horrible. It's just so sad. I don't even watch the Chiefs play the Broncos. That's how bad the Broncos games have been. Yeah, I mean, I'm super surprised. Mango, talk to me, bro. Tell me, what are you seeing from Seattle? Why are they so good, man?
I don't know, man. I was well documented at the beginning of this before the season even started, saying Geno Smith and Drew Lock. Absolutely not. I said the Seahawks were tanking. I said they were just going for a draft pick.
Yep.
I have no idea, man. But you know what? Seattle is making me eat my words. They put it together. Geno Smith, you know what? Geno Smith, I actually picked him up as my backup fantasy quarterback. So you know what? Keep balling out, kid. Yep, keep balling out, kid. So, I mean.
Oh, man.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Man, I don't know. Maybe Denver should have got Geno.
Oh,
man, how is Geno? Talk about putting money down. Who would have predicted that Geno Smith would be outplaying Russell Wilson this point in the season?
Who isn't outplaying Russell
Wilson? That's what I said
You know,
last week.
Dude.
The sad thing is he still may not get extended. He's going to play somewhere else next year. But he's doing a damn good job. I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give the floor to you, Marengo. What was your big surprise for the week?
How about them Falcons, boys?
Oh,
how about them Falcons? Do you guys know that Marcus Mariota, damn near had a perfect game? Damn near had a perfect game. He didn't throw the ball a whole lot. Okay? He didn't throw the ball a whole lot, but he was 13 for 14, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. He even had a rushing touchdown. This man went out there and had himself a game. And y'all gave me so much shit saying Atlanta's dog water. They're not doing nothing. They got a 500 record right now. They're looking like the team that's going to beat Tom Brady in Atlanta. I'm doubling down on it. Good for Atlanta. That's my surprise for the week.
Man, listen. City of Atlanta, I apologize. Atlanta's okay, but listen, dude. Don't act like they beat this crazy ass team. They beat Jimmy G, Safety G, all right? And you know who else did? Denver. So I'm not sold on them yet. I'm glad they went out there and had themselves a good day. I'm a little butthurt they ruined all my parlays. So forget Atlanta, forget Mariota. They ain't all that. Every team's going in the season with a couple wins. We ain't worried about it.
This butt team that they beat that you're talking about also went to the NFC conference game last year with this same quarterback. And they did nothing but add weapons in the offseason. So I'd take it as a pretty big win, man. I think Atlanta's looking better.
They added a new quarterback to the IR. That's what they did, and they lost. And they lost, and they lost to Denver. They lost to Denver. I'm not sold.
You keep bringing up old shit on this show.
All right, well, let's bring up recent shit. This man closed his eyes and backed out of the back of the end zone. I don't have to say anything else, dude. Cooper Rush didn't do that.
Hey, again, why are you bringing up old shit?
Oh, no, hey, let's not get off topic though. We're not talking up San Francisco. We'll talk about them another time when they deserve it. Good week for Atlanta. They went out and got a much deserved win. Good for Mariota. Now let's continue to talk about Atlanta.
You know what? I'll give you that. I'll give you that. They're 3-3, but I can't He threw the ball 14 times, had 129 yards. I'm not gonna listen. They won the game, which is great. They 28 points. The quarterback didn't even have 130 yards. That's great. That's awesome. What I'm not going to tell you is I am not going to be. I'm not. My eyebrows aren't raised over what Marcus Mariota did this week. Are you kidding me? He threw the ball 14 times. I'm not. Listen, I'll give you all the credit in the world. You called it. Your Atlanta is my Seattle. I don't think Seattle was supposed to be as good at all. But you know what? I'll give that to you. I won't even argue no more, Mango. Not what
You're actually the only one that actually picked Atlanta to win this week, Caleb. I actually
and
had
see.
them
I
losing.
thought I had read that I had. Nope, you're right. I thought I had San Francisco winning.
Yeah.
Nope,
You're the
you are
only one that had
correct.
Atlanta winning. Yeah.
Oh, that's
I will
bad.
say that I'm going to go ahead and close this debate for both of you guys, the Atlanta-Seattle debate. Okay. Obviously, Atlanta is the superior pick. And the reason why is because Atlanta whooped the Seahawks in Seattle this year already, 27-23 in week 3. So,
Whooped.
Atlanta is clearly the better team. They play head to head. They won. With that being said, I gotta admit, man, Atlanta's surprising me, man. Mariota really is doing something. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to last. 13 for 14 is compelling. I mean, a perfect quarterback rating. That team looks good. Defense is great. I'm looking at who they played. They're 3-3, but they lost the first week by 1 point to the Saints. They lost the second week 4 points to the Rams. And the other game that they lost was Tampa Bay. They lost. That was a close game last week. They would have came back if not for the damn referees throwing the damn flag. We already talked about that. They lost that game by 6 points. So it's kind of crazy. I'm looking like, man, they've been in all these games. The defense has not allowed more than 27 points all season. They look good. But at the same time, I'm also looking at these teams and I'm going, shit, none of these guys are over 500. None of these teams are over 500 other than the Buccaneers. So, again, with Seattle, I don't know.
Buccaneers are 500.
They're at 500 now. So yeah, they haven't beat a team that's over 500. They beat the Browns, the Seahawks, and the Niners. So, the jury's still out on Atlanta, but I will say they're a lot better than I thought they'd be. I thought Seattle would win only one game, and Atlanta, unfortunately, I predicted they'd be 4-13. They're at 3-3. So I was totally off on that one. Kudos to them, and that's an excellent choice there, Matt.
You know, I'll. It was an excellent choice, I suppose. It's excellent for my argument to you because the reason it's on your surprise this week is because they are not it. They are not them. They are not the guys. All right, their defense is okay, but their offense is abysmal. The only thing they had on offense got injured in Cordarrelle Patterson. I don't know where they're heading, but it ain't to the playoffs. All right. Kudos to them. They got to win, but I'm not really worried about it. And I'm going to segue this right into my surprise for the week because you said that they almost beat Tampa. Guess what? They're also garbage. And that's what I'm surprised about is why is Tampa so garbage? I mean, we got Tom Brady on the sidelines yelling at his team about Kenny Pickett. Not literally about Kenny Pickett, but you're playing against an injured TJ Wattless defense and you're over there throwing a hissy fit on the sideline. I don't know. I'm surprised to see, I guess, Atlanta doing above average and Tampa doing so poorly. I mean, even Tom looks bad, and he's out there yelling at everybody else, but you ain't doing so well yourself, bro. I I don't know. I got more to say on it, but I'm gonna ask you guys how you guys feel about it. Caleb, I'll throw it to you first.
I really don't know, man. They just Tom's what 87 now. I don't know. There's going to come a point in time where he's just not going to be able to do the same things that he used to be able to do. I think that they've really struggled. I think he's also going through a lot in his personal life too. You got to wonder how that's affected him. He's not. I see in the clutch, he's still able to manage a game. He is still able to get the ball down the field, but he just doesn't. I've heard him joke about earlier on in the season on the sideline. He doesn't have that arm anymore. Of course, if he's joking, whatever, shooting the shit, I don't care. But we can see it. When's the last time a Tom Brady led team started the season 3-3? I should have looked at that before, but it's been quite a while. I would have to imagine. I don't know. Father Time, is it finally knocking on the door? Who knows? I don't know. Tom Brady doesn't look good. He's not able to put points on the board up like he used to.
The leadership is gone right now. Tom Brady is the head of that team. He's the tip of the spear. The buck stops with Tom Brady, right? We can all agree on that. How are you supposed to perform at a high level and be this great team as a whole if your star quarterback and the leader of your team is gone 6 days out of the week?
That is a good point.
He's taking personal days off throughout the week. And I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. And he obviously has stuff going on in his personal life that he's got to take care of that we as sports fans don't always consider. And so, unfortunately, they do get trashed even when they do have those things going on. But the fact remains that the leadership's not there. Tom Brady's head is somewhere else, and the team's falling apart around him because he's not there to keep it together. They do have a lot of other veterans on that team that need to step up and be the leaders and be that voice that Tom's not right now. But until they do that, they're going to continue to struggle, and they're going to continue to find themselves slipping in games that they should be winning.
Doc, I do apologize before you go in on that. At what point do we think that like Tom Brady's doing a disservice to this team? Like you said, he's gone.
I'll get to that.
Oh, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, not go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Look, guys, Tom's the GOAT. Chill the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Like, just chill. I mean, look, man, he got baby mama drama. Dog. I mean, come on. All of y'all know what that's like. Each and every one of y'all have had baby mama drama before, and you haven't been your best that week at work. Exactly. So just chill. Leave Tom the hell alone. His wife.
This is more than 1 week.
I don't know if you guys heard him, but he ripped into his offensive line's ass in the first half this week when they're just getting just obliterated by Pittsburgh's pass rush. We didn't even know that Pittsburgh had a pass rush. But he's getting obliterated by it, and his ass cannot move, and he's pissed, and he's going off. And I don't know, I don't have the best hearing, but I'm pretty sure this fool yelled at his team and said, and I quote, "I didn't leave my family to be losing to Kenny fucking Pickett at the half." Yeah.
Did he actually say? Was that
to
a real?
his
Was that
offense line? I can't hear so
that a
well.
real
I don't know.
source?
I can't hear so well. I don't know where the source was. I saw the headline. I don't know where the source was. Don't quote me
I
on
saw the
that.
head-
But I will just say, like, that's the type of stuff. That's the attitude you get out of Tom. This guy is in it. This guy is ready to go. He's fired up. He, just chill out. Tom is going to take these guys to the playoffs. This is not the Packers. Okay? This is not the Packers.
Come on.
Okay?
Come on.
So just chill out. He's the GOAT. Let him do what he do.
I'm not saying that he's not.
I'll tell you why it's not the Packers. I'll tell you why it's not the Packers. Because Aaron Rodgers is leading his team right now. Even though they're not doing so well, he's there. He practices. I mean, dude, TB12. He's taken off 1 day a week, which is whatever. He's the GOAT. He's allowed to do this. He's allowed to do that because he's the GOAT. But at the end of the day, dude, you came out of retirement. You fucked up everybody's plans. You got a coach taken out of that motherfucker in Tampa, right, for you to come back. You're taking up cap space, and he's not like, getting Deshaun money by any means. But, I mean, you're taking away from somebody else's plate to show up and be bringing your outside shit to work. Y'all ever be mad as fuck at some shit at home and you go to work and you're still pissing, your boss tells you, hey, man, I don't care what's going on, but you need to leave that at home, bro. Like, that's what he needs to do right now because he ain't playing so hot either, man. I mean, this is the worst. If you pull up his stats from the first 6 weeks of this year, they are the worst that he's had since his first year as a starter.
I mean,
Why did you come back if you didn't plan on being over 500 after 6 weeks? You know what I mean? They kept everybody. They should be this. They should be that. I just don't see it. That's why I didn't hype up too much about the Chiefs beating them last week because they don't look right, man. They just don't look right.
This
Sorry,
is the
Maringo, go
same.
ahead.
This is the same guy that was in MVP talks last year. This is the same guy, and he just doesn't look that way. And I'm not saying that he's not the GOAT. He is by far. I am 100% in belief that the day that he finally does actually retire and hang him up, they just give him a gold coat because he's going to be first ballot Hall of Famer. There's not even a conversation. As soon as his name's written down, he's going in the Hall of Fame. So I'm not denying his GOATness. I'm just saying that the way he looks right now, he doesn't look present. He doesn't look like he has control of that team, and it's just falling apart around him.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's not trying to make it that way. He obviously has some stuff going on, but I mean, dude, like you might as well just made that extra money in the booth, my guy. Like,
right?
Why did you come back to potentially have a worse, like so far at least, a worse season than your last season? At least you could have went out on an MVP candidate thing. You know, you lose to the Super Bowl champions at the last. You know, like I don't know. It just seems like a really odd time to be coming in and shit in the bed like this. And it's like it would be different if he was balling in his offensive, like he was getting hit, like he played for the Texans or something. That would be different. But I don't
He had
know.
a pretty bags. He had a pretty bag sitting up there and waiting for him in the booth too.
Oh, he still does. As soon as he actually retires,
and he still will.
Oh, definitely.
And you know what? He's still Tom Brady, and he's still going to go to the playoffs. He's going to get it pulled together. It's going to happen. But just right now, it looks terrible in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and I know it's been on the headlines, his shit at home, but I mean, the dude's not even flying with the team. They're saying like that's supposed to be the leader, the team captain, and he's not even flying with the team. Again, like he's the GOAT. He's this and he's that. He can get away with this and that. But I mean, I wish Aaron Rodgers was doing that shit right now and having his team 3-3. You know what I'm saying?
Man, look, we're gonna get back to I'm gonna fast forward like 3-4 weeks. I'm gonna make y'all listen to this crap again. You guys are overreacting. You're questioning the GOAT. Show some respect. Sit down and be quiet. Your armchair quarterbacks. Okay? Tom Brady's that dude. Be quiet and watch the man do work. He's a little tired. You know what I'm saying? He's 45 for Christ's sakes.
I was gonna say he's 63.
The guy is, he's a little
then
tired.
Don't lace him up.
He just got divorced. You know all the young ladies he's out kicking it with these days. All the parties he's at. You know all the stuff. He's a quarterback, but he's getting more stuff thrown to him than the wide receivers in the league. If you know what I'm saying, okay? Tom is busy. Okay, Tom is sowing his royal oats. And when Tom gets ready to come back, he'll get ready to come back. Y'all need to just wait for Tom, okay? Tom is that dude. He's earned the right to show up when he gets ready. So long as he's there for the game, that's all that matters. Who the hell else do they have to come in and play? It's not like they drafted Aaron Rodgers and he's sitting there behind Brett Favre waiting to go. Who do they got? They don't even got Jimmy G. They don't even got Geno. Who do they got? Who's the backup in Tampa Bay? Okay, exactly. Thank you.
Blake
so
Bortles?
Shut the front door. Blake Bortles retired, right? Shut the front door.
Retired.
Tom is that dude. Let him do what he wants until he proves that he doesn't deserve to. Okay? No one's going to leave on top. Elway's the only one that ever did it. Most of these guys have killer instinct, and they don't go out until they've been beaten soundly, and they have to let the game go. A la Favre, a la Montana, a la all of these guys. Look at Roethlisberger. Why'd he come at that last year? This is what they do. He's not built to quit. They're not built that way. What makes them great is what makes them poor at that old age because they won't give up. So we got to let Tom see. I promise you 3 weeks, you fast forward 3 weeks from now, you guys are going to be looking like ass, giving that man.
My thing is this, like, this man is having full-on temper tantrums on the sideline, right?
Nothing new.
Of course. No, right. No, it's Tom Brady does that, right? Whenever he's winning. Like, I feel like, it's like a sales job. You could be a hero to a zero real quick, bud. It's a new season. You're 3-3 and you're out there throwing he's like, I think he's racked up 7 iPads, 4 Gatorade bottles, and fucking 3 watches or something. Like, dude's out there just breaking everything he sees. He's yelling at his team. He doesn't look like a leader. He's broken a marriage. Like, he's breaking everything he can. Just out there
That was below the
rampaging
belt.
all over the
That was
damn
below
field.
the
It was
belt.
below the belt.
Only thing he's
I'm just
breaking.
saying.
Only thing he's breaking is
He's breaking the bank.
Only thing he's breaking is them ladies off in Tampa.
Hey man, listen.
Oh,
Tom
City
Brady's the
boy.
GOAT. It's undeniable that he's the GOAT, man. All I'm saying is if I'm a Bucks fan and I see my quarterback out there tripping like that and he's part of the problem, I'm feeling some type of way. But we'll see, man. If they come out and they can actually still be a first or second seed, that's great. But like, I'll be really disappointed to see them be a 6 or 7 seed, man. If they make a wild card spot, no, I'm joking. They're gonna win that division, so they ain't gonna be in a wild card. But
If anybody was curious, because none of the three of you know who the second string is, right?
no, because no one's gonna think about who it is when Tom Brady's playing.
Blaine Gabbert.
All I'm saying is you guys said that he should have sat down and let the next guy have a job, and no one wants to see that.
I'm just saying they should have got somebody. I mean, they would have had an offseason to do it had he not decided 13 days in that he wanted to come back.
Oh
But
my God! Can we
that was his
stop
decision.
talking about Tom Brady? Oh shit! God, talking about Seattle. Just get Tom Brady off this podcast, dude.
Hey,
Move
man,
on.
listen. I agree. And, you know, at this rate, it won't be too long till he's off of our playoff talks, too. So we'll go ahead and move on over to, you know, well, actually, let's go ahead and recap these games from this last week, man. We got to go ahead and do that real quick. So we got of course, we know Buffalo took out Kansas City. I went ahead and took the point for that because I told y'all we ain't worried. We saw it coming. Then we had Washington at Chicago. Marengo went ahead and took that point, and I want to point out that this isn't the only time he does it this week. He prices righted me, even though we didn't see each other's score predictions before we sent them in, but he got me with a 17-13. I had 17-14, so good job.
That's what you
there.
did to me in Kansas City versus Buffalo. It's exactly what you did to me because we both had Buffalo.
Yeah, he got me on 1 point. I got you you had a whole different score. I'm not even worried about that. So we got San Francisco at Atlanta. Caleb took the point there because he had faith in Atlanta when Marengo didn't. New England at Cleveland. Knock went ahead and took that point. He had a guess of 30-17. It was 38-15. I want to also say 24-6 was the score at halftime. I've done this so many times this season where I have the exact score for the first half. Nobody got the point for Green Bay because the Jets are on a roll right now. We had Indy took out Jacksonville in actually a really close game. It was 34-27 Indy. We had Minnesota at Miami. Marengo 1 point off from his prediction. He almost got him a fiver. He went 24-17. It was 24-16. Then we had Cincinnati at New Orleans. I took the point there, 29-23. It was 30-26. Again, New York busted all of our brackets. We did not get any points for Baltimore G-Men. G-Men took the score, 24-20. As we said, Tampa Bay, boo-boo. They lost to Pittsburgh. Knock went ahead and took that point. The Rams had a really lame game against Carolina. So Marengo took the win there, which is, I want to just say, we all thought that was going to be the Rams scoring over 30 points. That was just, our score predictions are pretty funny if you go back and look at those. Caleb got the only point for Seattle over Arizona. And then I took the point for Philly over Dallas. And then the worst game of the week, Marengo got the point for the Chargers over the Broncos. So, good week right now. Total scores, we still got, of course, Knock in the lead. He's got 29 points. Marengo's sitting in second with 23.5. I'm in third with 17, and Caleb with 13.5. So it was a more contested week, though. I mean, Marengo had 4 points this week. Knock and I had 3, and Caleb had 2. And don't think I forgot last week you said you were going to catch up to me. I don't know how you're going to catch me. You can't score as much as me, and you still back 3.5 points. But we will talk about that next week when it's 5.5 points. Anyways, You thought I forgot.
Oh,
Look
I knew you
at
didn't forget.
you thought I
You just
forgot.
talk. You're talking a hell of a lot of shit for being in third place.
I'm talking shit to you.
Yo,
just just
damn.
mean, just bad, just
Because
Man,
between you and I'm in first place if it was just you and
oh
me.
Yeah,
wow.
you
No,
know who's
no.
not in first place? You know who's not in first place in the AFC? Indianapolis.
Mm.
oh, man, why are y'all even
You
arguing,
know
man?
what?
Isn't
Let's move
Hey,
on.
man?
Next week's
yeah,
games.
go,
Next week's games.
yeah,
Next week's games. Let's
go,
go.
go Seattle. Kansas City, San Francisco. Mango, I'm gonna throw this one to you, man. What do you think's gonna happen this week?
Oh man, I'm really excited for this week actually because we get two huge pieces of our defense back this week. Trent McDuffie's coming back. I know he's a rookie, but he has shown his worth already the beginning of the season. And Willie Gay, man, been much anticipated for him to come back. We talked a little about his suspension early on, so I won't touch much on that. But he is by far one of the leaders on that defense, and having him and Nick Bolton back there is going to make a huge difference. I think we're shutting down that running game San Francisco has. Our secondary is going to shut them down in the passing game. It's going to be an ugly game. I had this. Let me look at this. I had this predicted as a 31-17 game already. And honestly, after this past week, KC looked strong. They showed us the team they were. They're resilient, and they're not going to have to be in this game. We're going to step on their throats early, and I can see this being a 42-10, 42-17 game. So I think it's going to be a big week for us, man. I think it's going to be a really big week, and I think Spags comes back, and he's pissed off after last week.
I can see that.
Okay.
Knock, what do you think?
You know, I think this is the kind of game that we have to win if we expect to, really dominate the AFC. I understand we lost last week against Buffalo, but we can't lose to 49ers, even in San Francisco. We do get McDuffie back, who is a rookie. He's just come back. He really hasn't had a chance to play. So, there's going to be a learning curve there for him. We're still exposed the way that in the secondary, the way that Spagnola called, and you guys remember last week playing the Bills. I mean, there are times where he was just throwing this kitchen sink at him, blitzing linebackers, blitzing safeties, and just leaving rookie corners one-on-one against Stephon Diggs this week. And last week he was doing the same thing against Devontae Adams. He's leaving Watson. I mean, the guy's a seventh-round rookie. Seventh rounder, and he's just leaving us exposed. So if we put McDuffie in that position, having come back off injury, it's not going to fare well for him. But I'm glad we get him back. We get Rashad Fenton back too. That's one of the names that you did mention. That's huge for us because he was on the Super Bowl team. Rashad Fenton's been a good player for us since we drafted him. So it's going to be nice to get him back. But yeah, we have to win this game against the Niners, and not just that, but we need to win the next few games. And we got the Niners, then we got the Titans, then we got the Jags. And so I fully expect that we win those games, and we see ourselves at 7-2 after that stretch, and poised to go right into the second half of the season strong. Um, with that being said, this is how we do it. We get back to the run. We looked dominant whenever we were running the ball with Clyde and he was doing his thing, and then Pacheco was coming in and looking good. Pacheco only got 2 carries last week. And if you guys remember, he looked good in the carry. I mean, the boy comes out with energy, right? And so I'm not saying he's the answer. I'm just saying that we have to be more balanced on offense. Anytime Mahomes passed the ball 40 times, we have more of a chance to lose. So I like to see a little bit better balance being called by Eric Bieniemy and the Chiefs offense. We only had 68 yards against Buffalo last week. That's not going to cut it. Um, but I'll tell you right now, we got to be careful. Too early prediction was 24-10. It might be closer than that, guys. I mean, we're going to get their best shot. They hate our guts. Kittle hasn't forgot. Debo Samuel hasn't forgot. Jimmy G hasn't forgot. This is going to be their Super Bowl. Their fan base is going to be acting just like Buffalo if they win. This is the big deal to them. So we've got to go out. We've got to show up. We've got to be prepared. Don't look past these guys looking towards the Titans because it's in our conference in the AFC. We definitely need to focus and get this dub.
They got
You know,
L'Jarius Sneed over there bought in too.
yeah.
L'Jarius Sneed talking big stuff on Twitter right now.
Oh, is that right?
You talk about
Oh
Charvarius
yeah.
Ward?
Or yeah, Travarius Ward. Sorry, thank you for
Mhm.
correcting me. But yeah, he said
Yeah.
he was talking about filling the stadium with red and gold. Don't let any of them red and yellow jerseys in here. So he's definitely bought in. He's definitely bought in. He's gonna
And you
get
know,
that. He's gonna get that ass beat. But
that's that's good to see. I like the confidence. I think this is going to be a dogfight of a game. I don't think this is going to be a blowout by either side. Both of you really knocked it out. Points I had, you guys just ran all over it. You took everything that I was going to say, but no, this game right here, this is a San Francisco team that's come off an ugly loss against the Falcons. They're going to be back at home, like you guys said. They hate the Chiefs.
Hmm.
They knew they had a chance at winning that Super Bowl, and I know Jimmy G. I know they have this game circled. They will never admit it, but I think they're going to be hungry for this one. I'm a little bit more worried about them running the ball. I there have been times where that seems to be. I know we're getting some key pieces back on defense, but that's what I'm worried about. I do think Kansas City comes out on top. I really, really hope we do. Teams really want to take us seriously, coming through the rest of the season. I would like to be better than 4-3. So I really hope that we wake up and hopefully this is a game that we show. I'm looking at the matchup predictor. According to ESPN, they have Kansas City at a 71.8% chance to win the game. That's honestly a little surprising. I kind of see that being a little bit more even. But we'll see. Nonetheless, I still have Kansas City coming out taking a W, and I really hope so because the Chargers. I know the AFC West has not looked as good as we all predicted, and they're not all that far behind us. So we need to keep this win. We need to start. These next few weeks are going to be crucial. John, what you got for it?
Uh, I think just like Knox said, I think it's going to be closer than everybody thinks it's going to be. Both teams took L's last week. San Francisco's a little uglier than ours. Um, I think Kansas City comes out on top. We don't generally lose two in a row, but it is a trap game. It is a non-conference away game, and it's against a team that hates our guts. I mean, like the guy Knox said it perfectly. They are taking this game very seriously. San Francisco is a loss away from being in some trouble for their playoff spot. So I think that they're going to come out and they're going to give us everything that they have because I think that probably 4 or 5 of those guys on offense or whatever they were already licking their chops about being Super Bowl champions in the third quarter just a few seasons ago. So
Hmm.
they haven't forgotten for sure, and this is kind of a difference for them of going over 500 or under and being in that conversation, and that their division's also up for grabs. This loss doesn't necessarily hurt us as much as it would them. It could put them in a really good spot. So I don't know. I think they got a really good defense. And I will say, like, the Chiefs' defense has been better this season than it has been in the past, and the San Francisco offense looks pretty bad. But we also lost to the freaking Colts. And so I think we got to go in there. We got to be careful. We just got to get a dub.
Hmm.
It's really insane how similar your notes were to mine, man. I was thinking run game is crucial. They've got a good secondary. We got to control the clock, and we got to get this dub. My too early prediction for this game is 17-10, and I think I'm probably going to stick with that. Actually, scoring everything because it's going to be a nail biter. I don't see it being anywhere in the 50 to 60 total point range by any
Mhm.
means. So we'll see how it goes, though. I'm still saying Kansas City dub all day because we should win this game.
We should win, absolutely.
Um, Moving on to another game that you know is on paper it may not sound as interesting, but I think the game's going to be really fun to watch. Detroit and Dallas play this week. And I know that Detroit is under 500 and everything, but I mean, they've got one of the best offenses outside of against New England last week. They're coming off of a bye. I think that they're going to come out and really try to do something with Dallas. Dak Prescott's supposed to be back this week. What do you think? And Knock, I'm going to throw this one over to you.
Oh man, look, these Cowboys. This is the tale of two teams. I thought both of these teams were going to be strong this year. Obviously, I called Dallas to, make a run late and go in the playoffs to win the Super Bowl. And I had the Lions sneaking in the last wild card spot, right? And I'll be honest, the Lions look great. They're scoring a lot of points. They're losing games by just one or two or 3 point, like one score games, but they've only won one game. So I don't see how they're going to eke into the playoffs. So I was clearly wrong there. They're, they're the opposite of the Cowboys. That they just find ways to lose, and I don't think this game's going to be any different. The Cowboys have been finding ways to win, and they're scoring like 20 points a game. Detroit scoring 38 points a game can't win anything. So I don't know how this is going to be different. The biggest question for me, and I think for everybody, and it's the elephant in the room, is what's going to happen with Dak? Is Dak ready? The man's got bolts and screws in his throwing hand, keeping his thumb intact. We all know what it takes to throw a football, to grip a football, and we all know these big, giant-ass Myles Garrett sized men just just smacking down on your hands and stuff, trying to rip the ball out every single play. What's going to happen the first time his hand gets hit? Is he going to be able to spin it properly? Is he going to have that zip on it on the long ball? Is he going to be accurate? Is it going to come out kind of fluttery? These are the questions that I have, and this is going to decide the game because let's be clear, Cooper Rush is not turning the ball over. Cooper Rush is a game manager, and he's managing these games very well. And if Dak is feeling pressure to get back out there because everyone's going, Cooper Rush undefeated, and Dak wants to get in on this, he comes out and he tries too much, he does too much, and he exposes his defense by turning the ball over or something like that. If he loses this game, I'm gonna tell you right now, I've talked to a lot of Cowboys fans, right? I got Cowboys fans that reach out to me, especially for the podcast stuff. They don't give a damn about Dak Prescott. They care about winning, and they believe in Cooper Rush. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on, but these Cowboys fans believe in Cooper Rush, whether they think it's luck or good luck. I don't know what it is, karma or whatever. So Dak better not come out here and shit the bed. If he's not ready, he might as well sit. But if he does come out here and play, do not turn the ball over. Hold on to the ball. And that's really what I want to see.
Did you ask them how they felt about him after their 3 picks this last week, or? No?
If you guys know anything about Cowboys fans, when they love their quarterback can do no wrong.
Fair statement, Marengo. You take it from here, bud.
Man, let's not act like the only reason we're talking about this game is because of Dak Prescott. That's the biggest headline going into this week. I mean, there's maybe 1 or 2 games that I'm interested in actually even watching this weekend. It's a stinker weekend for me. But Dak coming back is a huge question mark, and Knock, I think you hit it right on the head. Whenever you have, especially right in that joint, bolts and screws holding that together, no quarterback has ever come back from that. Many have tried. You just can't spin the ball like you could anymore. And, maybe Dak is the exception, and for his career and for the Cowboys, I really hope it is. But I think that he's rushing himself to come back. And if he doesn't go out here and look like the Dak of old, there's going to be a lot of questions in Dallas. And, Cooper Rush, we talked a lot about him in the beginning. I think he's going out and he's doing his job. He is a backup quarterback, and he came in and did his job. He gives me a lot of Alex Smith vibes. Honestly, he reminds me a lot of Alex Smith. He goes in, he manages the game, he does it well. He doesn't take too many chances. Now, whether that's the coaching not putting him in that situation or whether that's him having the know-how and the ability to read that, I don't know. But whatever it is, Cooper Rush is doing well and he's winning games other than this past week. So hopefully Dak comes back and he's the Dak of old and the Cowboys continue to have success, as sick as that makes me. Man, we're talking about the Cowboys twice on this freaking podcast. But yeah, man, there's a lot of questions surrounding Dak. That's the only real reason I'm even interested in watching this game this week is just to see how he performs, and hopefully he comes back and he's doing well.
Caleb, you look like you want to say something.
No, I mean it's nothing in particular that I really want to say. Listen, I would be I was going to be a little scared for the Cowboys anyway. But with Dak coming back, and this makes it even a bigger game for him, I think, because we're talking about a Lions team that, yes, they could put points on the board, but this Lions team, they allowed 48 points against the Seahawks. I don't know. I'm not one. I don't like to speculate a whole lot. I do want to see Dak go out there, and I want to see him. I want to see him look great, like I know he can. I'm really scared about. I have a bad feeling about this. I don't know. I, I think he's coming back too early. If we're being completely honest, I think he's coming back a little bit too early. I don't think this is going to be a good look for him. I think if I don't remember exactly who I picked, I'm sure I picked the Cowboys to win this game because I didn't have Detroit doing anything when we made these picks. But
You got Dallas 34-7.
yeah, and
We all had Dallas. Yeah.
I'm wondering, man. I'm wondering if Detroit doesn't come out of here and sneak out with this. It worries me. I hope not. I really do. If I had to put money on it, I would think Dallas does come out of this game victorious. But Detroit, they can put points on the board. We've seen it all season outside of against New England. We've seen it all season. They can put points on the board. I really hope the Cowboys can squeak this out. Not because I'm telling you right now, if Dallas loses this game, I'm going in on you next week.
Man,
What?
go ahead, defend yourself. Defend yourself.
Well, I don't know how I lose this either way. Because I say Detroit's going to make a play. And I've also said the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl, but they're not going to dominate in the regular season. So whether they win or lose, I'm right.
Okay. I'll give you that. Fair enough. I'll give you that.
You know who's not going to the playoffs? Detroit.
Detroit. 110%.
And you
Sorry,
know what?
dog.
Probably not the Packers either.
The way they're looking right now, I think you're right.
Now, hey, before we get off track, y'all leave my boys alone now. All right, listen, Detroit, Dallas. As much as I'd love to get on here and say I think Detroit's going to come in here and mollywop this team because they can put up a bunch of points, and they're coming off of a bye week and they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this, I just think that defense is way too good. Like, they're just way too good. They held Philly to 26, even with Cooper Rush out there throwing picks left and right. I mean, these guys aren't going to sit there and just let the Lions destroy them or by any means. They just put up a goose egg against the Patriots last week. So I don't really know. Whatever, I'm not really too worried about it. I honestly think maybe if it's not rushed and he's actually medically cleared to come in, this could be the perfect game for Dak to come in, because while Detroit may have one of the best offenses in scoring wise, they've got one of the worst defenses. They allow 1 million points a game. Dak can come in there and not have to stress about them playing against the Tampa Bay front seven. You know what I'm saying? I think that's going to be a lot more of a game where you're concerned about his health than this week. I honestly think if they go in here and he can't put up more than 20 points against Detroit, maybe that's what you're worried about, right? But he should be able to come in here and close this game out. I think, if Detroit really comes out swinging and figures out the Cowboys defense, maybe they can do something, but I'm not putting my money on it. I think that the Cowboys have proven who they are, even with Cooper Rush putting up 100 yards a week. So I think it'll be a good game, though. It'll be a good game, but my score prediction was 41-13 Dallas. That was what I said in early August. I'll say, even with Dak's injury, I'm going to put that at 28-13 maybe. Bring the Dallas score down a little bit, but I mean, I think it's going to be a 2-score game at best for that. So, yeah.
Micah
Good luck,
Parsons is
Detroit.
gonna be a game.
Yeah, I'm personally rooting for the Lions because I like rooting for underdog teams, but I just don't see it for him this week. Good luck to Dak coming back. Hopefully we don't see him get not carted off. That would be terrible if he got carted off, but hopefully he doesn't get brought off for his hand or anything. But another game I'm really interested. We got some more quarterbacks coming back this week. We got Pittsburgh, Miami. I think that's going to be a pretty good game. Caleb, I'll throw this one over to you first.
Yeah, man. With Tua expected to come back here in week 7, I really hope he is healthy, and I hope he's able to play up to we know what he can play. Um, I'm kind of surprised at the Steelers. They come off a win against Tampa. I will say the number of consecutive seasons of a team led by Mike Tomlin with a 500 or above record. I think that's going to end this season. So we'll see. A lot of season left, but. No, I think Miami's going to come in here, and I don't know, man. I don't think this is going to be a particularly close game. Um, the Steelers don't look great. They beat a Tampa team that Tampa they look washed. I think if Tua is back and healthy, I just see them. I see them running against this team. I see them passing. I don't see this being a close game at all. I do have to ask you what makes you what do you see that you think this is going to be a close game?
Um, I, I would have to disagree with you on that. I do think it will be a close game. Um, and since you asked, this is why. They both just played the Jets in the last 2 weeks, both of them. Steelers just played the Jets. They lost 24-20.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dolphins just played the Jets. Again, they didn't have Tua.
Mm-hmm.
They lost
Right.
40-17. So the defense there in Miami isn't as stout as they've been in the past. I think that when you look at the stats, I'm looking at them right now. The Dolphins defense is giving up, just a little bit less yards per game. Um, but points per game, they're both hovering around 25 points per game that they're giving up. Um, Now, Miami's offense has been more potent, but Tua's coming back. We're all scared to death about what might happen if someone breathes on Tua. I don't know about you guys, but I'm scared to see him play. I can't.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like I
absolutely.
can't. I'm watching that game. It's like a train wreck. You know what I mean? Like you can't not watch, but you're scared shitless, but you're fascinated at the same time, right? Like I pray that Tua comes out of that game and he plays well and he doesn't get hurt. But man, it seems too soon, man. I don't know. I don't know if he ever played again, if it would be long enough, right? So I do think it could be a close game if Tua doesn't come out and light it up. Um, the teams have shown that they're both in the same kind of bracket as far as skill wise. So I think my too early prediction was 24-17. And I'm going to roll with that. I think it could be a 7-point game. I would be surprised if it was more than a 10-point game. They took Trubisky out after a couple of weeks because he got into it with Deontay Johnson in the locker room. But since Kenny Pickett's come in to start, Kenny Pickett hasn't won shit. Kenny Pickett hasn't done anything. And look what happened last week. Kenny Pickett goes out hurt, and Trubisky comes in, and that defense and that running game rallied around him, and they found a way to beat Tampa Bay. And I'm looking, they hadn't won 4 weeks in a row before that. The Steelers hadn't won for 4 weeks. They end up beating
Wow.
Tampa Bay whenever Trubisky comes in. So I think it's possible, however, not probable, that the Steelers could win. But most likely, I'm with you on that. Dolphins will probably pull this out, especially if Tua stays healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Mango.
I'm feeling the same way. I'm really really worried about Tua coming back. I just seeing how he was walking after that injury and everything that came out afterwards, and
Oh, it's horrible.
man, I don't understand. He's had many recommendations and doctors come out saying that he should never play again, and not to even mention he's the smallest guy on the field. No matter where he's playing, no matter what stadium he's in, he's going to be the smallest guy on the field, and that line has proven time and time again that they're not going to protect him on every down. He's got free runners coming at him all the time. So hopefully Tua comes out and he's okay. He gets through this game. I do agree with you, Knock. I do think it's way too soon. But to get more into the game, you're right, man. Kenny Pickett, even being a rookie, has just not looked like he's ready. Not at all. And I was really big on the kid. Really going into the season, I thought the best chance for Pittsburgh would be to start Kenny Pickett from day one. Honestly, I don't have any faith in Mr. Trubisky. He's proven me right time and time again. Any Mitch Trubisky led team is just destined for garbage. I'm sorry. That's just what happens with this man. He is the second coming of God. We just talked about him a little bit ago. I can't remember his name. Butt fumble from
Mark
the
Sanchez.
Jets.
I was gonna say
Mark Sanchez.
I was gonna say Brian Hoyer.
Mark Sanchez went to two
Second
AFC
coming, either way.
championships.
Hey, you know what?
Somehow,
And Mitch
somewhere.
Trubisky has his spurts. Just like when they played Tampa Bay when he came in. He looked great. But he's always going to fall off in the end. I don't think he's going to get the job done, especially not this week with Tua coming back. The Dolphins are going to be hungry. You're going to see that waddle a lot in the end zone this weekend. So I got it as a 10-point game. I got it 24-14. I think I'm going to roll with that. I think it's going to be pretty accurate, and Miami might put up a few more points on top of that. So Pittsburgh's just not doing it for me, man.
I'm not sold on Pittsburgh.
I think this might be the first. I agree with you, Caleb. I think this might be the first one in a long time that actually his first one ever that Tomlin has had an under 500 team. So it's unfortunate for Pittsburgh, but I don't really like Pittsburgh that much anyway. So go Dolphins.
That's right.
Yeah. Well,
John, it looks like you want to go in. What do you have going on over there?
Finish strong.
Let
PK.
it out.
Finish strong.
Let
PK.
it out.
all right, man. Let me go ahead and just anchor on in there. I want to address something that Knox said about, he said it was going to be a close game because of the Jets. The Jets. We keep talking about them this week. Good job, guys. You guys made the news.
They just both recently played. It was a common denominator.
Oh, no, I know I'm getting there. You said, I understand there was a huge point differential with the 40-17 against Miami, but there were just a lot of factors there that I think it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, it was a 26-19 game. I mean, honestly, it was a 19-17 game. I'm sorry. And in the last seconds, I mean, they went down, they scored a touchdown, made it 26-17, and then they proceeded to muff punts and 3 and out one other time, and then they had good field position. So I mean, I think that was kind of a crazy factor there, and they didn't even have Tua. I think Tua coming back could be too early. I mean, obviously we don't want to see him get hurt. We don't want to see him get hit by a big guy or twirled the way that he was that last time where he started season on the field. But I think that if he comes back, and he's been saying he feels good, like he's following what Miami's saying about him. He's saying he feels good. He flew back with the team. I mean, it's been 2 weeks. He even sat out an extra week outside of the technical concussion protocol. Pittsburgh doesn't look all that great. They did just beat Tampa, but Tampa looked pretty piss poor as well. I think Miami comes out here and takes it by 10 at least, if Tua can manage not to get beat down. Their defense is solid. I think the 40 points from the Jets was just a total misconception of what that defense is all about. I think they've actually got a really solid defense. If I'm not mistaken, they're ranked like 11th, and that's probably after the 40-point difference knocked them down, because I know they were like 6th there for the first few weeks. But you might fact check me on that.
They gave up 38 against Baltimore the second week of the season.
Yeah, exactly. They had Baltimore's a fucking solid team though. Like they came back and won that game too because of Tua. So all I'm saying is, if they're letting teams put up a lot of points, but it's solid ones, I don't think that they really have a lot to worry about with Pittsburgh. That's kind of the point I'm getting at, because they don't even know who they've got starting at quarterback. They've got their best receiver outside of Deontay. I mean, you can say it's Deontay Johnson. It might even be Pickens at this point. Who knows? Like TJ Watt's out. Like they're not looking all that great, I guess. Like they beat Cincinnati with TJ, but like you said, 4 weeks straight they didn't win a game. It took Tampa beating themselves for them to get something on the W column. Unless Miami goes out there and beats themselves, I just don't see it. I mean, they came out there with Skylar Thompson, shout out K-State, and barely lost to Minnesota, who's looking like, the second or maybe the third best team in the NFC right now, and they only lost by 8 points with a rookie quarterback. I think they're going to come out here and schlackle the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially at home. But we'll see what happens. Obviously, it's any given Sunday all times, but like I'm almost wishing that I could. Like my prediction is Miami 17-7 from August. I'm wishing I could rack that up because I think Tua's going to come back and he's going to light it up. I think it's maybe too soon for him to play, but damn for sure too soon to watch him go out again. I want to see that Miami offense we saw the first 3 weeks. So hopefully that's what we get. But I don't even see it being close, man. That's my take. And Raheem Mostert has come out and shown that he's a top running back in this league still.
Yeah, I mean, Miami hasn't really been scoring this week. They had one big game this whole season. I mean, they put up 20 the first week, 21 the third week, 27, 17, 24. They had one
right,
good
but
week.
I'm saying they're playing
week,
they're playing against Pittsburgh. They're playing against Pittsburgh.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying to you. Like what? Like we're not saying, I'm not telling you Miami's going to come out there and beat Buffalo. Oh wait, they did that.
They did.
I didn't say they were going to come out here and beat Baltimore. Oh shit, hold on, they did that too. You know what I mean? Like it's Pittsburgh. I'm not too worried about it. So we'll see what happens, man.
Well, there's a
Tua's
difference
coming back,
between winning
and
and winning big, and that's we're all calling them to win. You said they'll win by at least 10. That's the difference.
Because
I
it's
win
the
it by 11.
Again, because it's the Steelers. That's what I'm saying. They're going to win by 10 because it's the Steelers. They don't they just don't look great. I think the Miami's defense is solid enough to hold back Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, Mike Tomlin, Big Ben out of retirement, whoever the hell they want to put behind center. I just don't see them really doing much more than Tua, Reek, Jalen, Edmonds.
So you're
Mostert,
saying take the over
Gesicki.
for sure.
Take the spread for sure. Definitely take the spread.
Or, yeah, the spread. That's what I'm sorry.
what
Take the spread for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, take the spread for sure. Yeah, I'll matter of fact, I'll put money on the spread and I'll put a screenshot of it next week. I don't even know. I don't even know what the spread is,
It's
but I know it
7
ain't
points
10.
right now.
I'll take it.
7 points right now.
I'd take that. I would take that.
Oh, hold on. This sounds like somebody's trying to put gas in my tank.
I'm
Is somebody trying to put gas in my tank?
You just talk. All I said is it could be closer.
I'm just asking.
I said
I'm
it
just
could
asking.
be close, and you guys are saying it's a blowout. You asked for evidence. I gave it to you. You poo-pooed on it. We gonna see now.
Okay. Do you want to do a personal wager on the spread?
I'm not going to
though?
wager anything on the Steelers or the Dolphins. They
So-
both trash. They're both trash.
So behind
Ooh.
the Buffalo Bills,
I will say I
win
got
and
the point
Ravens
last
win,
week for
I'm
Pittsburgh.
gonna-
And I'm the only one that picked them. They beat the Buccaneers. Why are you talking about the Dolphins? Oh, they beat this team, they beat that team. Tua's coming back.
I already
Who
told
knows how long he's going to play? He didn't make it through one series last time.
it all follows through with what I've been saying all day today. The reason that they won is because Tampa Bay is boo-boo. Their quarterback has an anger issue that they need to resolve, and that's why they got to win this week. I'm not worried about the Steelers. It's unfortunate enough I've been having to talk to Steelers fans all season about the standings predictions I put up, and they're following suit pretty damn well. I think I've read that team.
No, it's not the Steelers that you got to worry about. It's the fact that I think that you guys believe that the Dolphins have this big time offense, and they don't.
No, I think that they lost by 8 to Minnesota, who's one of the top teams. They beat 2 of the top teams in the AFC. I mean, they're just showing that they are a solid, good team.
I mean, yeah,
and the Steelers have shown that they are garbage. Therefore, I can see why the spread is 7 and not 3.
Oh, yeah, the 7 is fair. That's exactly what I said it would be. Y'all talking about it's going to be a blowout. So we're going to see. I'm excited to see what happens. We'll talk about it next week on the podcast, baby.
If this isn't a 10-point game, I'd be amazed.
Minimum.
I should say. Yeah.
All right. Well, I expect you guys to all put your bets in on the links below. Whoever you think is going to win, send them in. We'll see what happens. But we'll end it there, man. We'll see what happens, man. I'm super excited about a lot of these games. I know it's looking like a snoozer of a week overall, but I mean, I think these 3 games that we talked about today, I'm definitely gonna have to watch for sure. Thank you guys for showing up, man. It has been an awesome day. I've always loved being on here with you guys and just being able to talk about these games, man. Appreciate everybody for joining in and listening to us. If you guys have any interest in placing some bets, check out the links below. Those always help out the podcast, get you some nice little promo bets too. And until next time, see y'all later.